The Dallas Cowboys are staring at one of the most pivotal off-seasons in recent franchise memory, and the tension inside the building feels different this time. This isn't just about tweaking a roster or filling a couple of holes. This is about redefining the identity of a team that believes its championship window is still open while knowing the margin for error has never been thinner. When you look across this roster, you see a fascinating blend of former five-star prodigies, late bloomers, expensive veterans, and rising young talent all converging at the same crossroads. The reality is that talent accumulation got Dallas here, but talent management will determine whether they stay relevant or slide backward in a brutally competitive NFC. One of the most interesting storylines begins with the revelation that only a handful of players on this roster entered the league as five-star recruits out of high school. Names like Jadeveon Clowney, Dante Fowler Jr., and George Pickens remind you how unpredictable the journey from high school stardom to NFL production can be. Star ratings never guaranteed dominance at the professional level, but they often hint at elite traits, and Dallas has leaned on those traits heavily. Now the front office must decide whether nostalgia for pedigree should influence contract decisions. Clowney led the team in sacks. Fowler's advanced metrics suggest he was more disruptive than his raw numbers show, and Pickens has become the focal point of the passing attack. The question isn't whether these players were elite prospects once. It's whether they still fit the timeline of a roster trying to get younger without taking a step back. That tension is especially clear on the edge of the defense. Dallas faces a dilemma that echoes past mistakes, where aging pass rushers were kept just a year too long or replaced with expensive gambles that didn't pay off. The data suggests both Clowney and Fowler remain effective, yet both are on the wrong side of the age curve. Investing heavily in veterans might keep the floor high for one more season, but it could also block the development of younger rushers and strain the salary cap. The alternative is pursuing younger free agents or drafting the next cornerstone, a path that carries risk but offers long-term stability. This is the kind of fork in the road that defines franchises, because pass rush isn't a luxury in today's NFL. It's survival. While the defensive line debate rages, the Cowboys are quietly making moves to secure stability in the most overlooked phase of the game. Their determination to keep kicker Brandon Aubrey signals how much they value reliability in close contests. In a league where playoff games often hinge on a single possession, elite special teams can be the difference between heartbreak and a deep postseason run. Dallas is prepared to use a restricted free agent tender if necessary, a strategic safety net that prevents losing a weapon they consider essential. It may not dominate headlines, but organizations that consistently contend rarely allow elite specialists to walk away. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the Cowboys offseason strategy, this is the moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the moves made over the next few weeks will reshape the NFC landscape, and we'll be breaking down every implication the second it happens. The draft looms as another defining battlefield. With a new defensive vision taking shape, prospects who once seemed like perfect fits may no longer align with the scheme. Dallas appears to be shifting toward versatile defensive backs and hybrid defenders, players who can disguise coverages and match up with modern offenses built on speed and spacing. Injuries, particularly at cornerback, complicate evaluations, forcing the scouting department to balance immediate need against long-term upside. The possibility of targeting a dynamic linebacker such as Sonny Styles highlights the desire for multidimensional defenders who can cover, blitz, and play in space. Modern defenses demand adaptability, and Dallas seems determined to build one that can evolve week to week rather than rely on static personnel. Linebacker may actually be the most fragile unit on the roster. Health concerns surrounding DeMarvion Overshown have prevented the team from seeing his full potential, while younger players are still developing consistency. Releasing a veteran to clear cap space signals that reinforcements are coming, likely through free agency. The market offers everything from high-priced stars to experienced leaders who understand complex defensive systems. The front office must decide whether to spend big on a difference maker or spread resources across multiple contributors. Either approach carries consequences for depth, leadership, and financial flexibility. Financial maneuvering will ultimately shape every decision. The Cowboys entered the offseason over the salary cap, forcing difficult conversations about restructures, extensions, and potential departures. High-profile contracts at quarterback, receiver, and along the offensive line provide opportunities to create space, but they also push money into the future, increasing pressure to win now. On the defensive side, the organization views its interior linemen as foundational pieces worth building around, which means extensions could serve both competitive and financial purposes. Cap management isn't just accounting. It's a strategic weapon, and Dallas is preparing to use it aggressively. No storyline captures the urgency of this offseason more than the looming decision on George Pickens. Placing the franchise tag on a star receiver is both a commitment and a gamble. It guarantees short-term continuity for the offense while postponing the long-term financial reckoning. Pickens has the talent to justify a massive contract, but committing top-of-the-market money to another skill player could limit the team's ability to reinforce the defense. This is the balancing act of modern roster construction, explosive offense versus complete team building. Dallas believes it can have both, but the margin for miscalculation is razor thin. Meanwhile, the broader context of the NFC adds pressure. Rival teams are getting younger, faster, and more aggressive in free agency. Standing still is not an option. The Cowboys must improve not only to chase a championship, but to maintain their position among conference contenders. Every move, from retaining role players to targeting splash acquisitions, feeds into a larger strategy aimed at sustaining relevance deep into January. This offseason isn't about headlines. It's about building a roster capable of surviving the grind of a full season and peaking at the right moment. As the combine, free agency, and draft converge, Dallas finds itself in a rare position, simultaneously protecting a competitive core and planning for the next era. The front office's willingness to negotiate extensions, explore the market, and consider bold draft strategies suggests an organization that understands the stakes. Success will depend on threading a needle between patience and urgency, loyalty and pragmatism, star power and depth. Championships are rarely won by the most talented roster on paper. They're won by the team that makes the fewest mistakes when the pressure is highest. If you want to stay ahead of every Cowboys move, every contract twist, and every draft surprise, make sure you subscribe now and join this community of fans who live and breathe football, because the decisions made in this offseason will echo for years, and we'll be here breaking down exactly what they mean the moment the news drops.